Induction Programme, structure and activities. When the trainees first commence the programme in September, Core and School Direct have slightly different start dates. For School Direct trainees, they start their placement 3 days before commencing the university element of the programme. For Core trainees, their first experience of placement comes after their university induction. So while School Direct trainees may be feeling a little more comfortable within their new placement surroundings, Core trainees, this will be very new to them. So the university induction in school, the placement, starts on the 24th of September until the 5th of October. There's 8 days in total. Some trainees will commence a programme with lots of experience. Some will have been teaching assistants, some will have been unqualified teachers. Others will have had quite limited experience, some coming straight from university. Effective induction is going to be crucial for the trainees in helping them to settle in, to both to this department and the school more generally. An induction needs to happen in both placements, but within their first Block A placement, there is an allocated, dedicated time for this. Prior to the trainees commencing placement with your school, it would be helpful to make that initial contact with them, notifying the trainees of the time and place they should report to on their first day, and any special requirements of your school. For example, you may have a business dress code. If that's the case, making that known to the trainee before they actually arrive. You may want them to bring their DBS certificates with them. If that is something you want, then make that clear prior to them starting. For induction, a structured first day is really useful. Meeting the PM in the morning is often something that many of our partnership schools find valuable. Perhaps a tour of the school, providing a contextual description of the school that the trainees are going to be placed in. Many schools set the morning aside for this and then afternoons in the departments, but how your school chooses to do it, that's up to you. It works well for trainees to get to meet their peers, meeting first of all the PM in the morning. They get to meet other trainees from the programme from different subject areas, and it's a nice time for them to meet one another, get to know each other a little, and know they've got that support network whilst they're on placement with you. In the morning, when meeting the trainees, they're going to need to have key information and policies. This could be key personnel within the school, policies of safeguarding, behaviour management, assessment and marking policies, and all staff expectations need to be made very clear at this first meeting. If there are any certain specific requirements of your school, for example, any religious aspect or requirements of your school that trainees need to be aware of, this is a really good point to make that very clear to them. Trainees also need to be aware of reporting systems within your school, so they report behaviour issues to, any concerns with any students and so on. So having that knowledge of the key personnel is really important. Perhaps SIM details, log-on details to computer systems and so on is also something that trainees will need to have very early on. Providing them information regarding the expectation is going to be crucial. What you expect of them, what time you expect them to be in school, what time the school day ends, what time it's okay for them to be leaving. If they're going to be absent due to illness, who they need to contact, what they need to provide. Do you expect them to provide cover work? So being very clear about all this information on that very first day sets the scene and the tone for the whole placement. So key aspects of induction. Trainees are expected to undertake a pupil trail during their induction period within school. This will be organised by probably the PM, but it also could be the subject mentor as well. Trainees will follow one particular student for a whole day, so they get to see a range of different lessons in different subject areas, and they get to see the pupil at different times of the day and seeing what impact this has on their learning and also their engagement and motivation. They'll see different teaching styles. They'll see how people might be behaving perfectly in one particular lesson or subject and might be quite different in another. The trainee will be making notes and observations of this to help them understand a little bit more about effective teaching and learning. It gets them outside their department as well to see a range of subjects. So if, for example, it was an English trainee, seeing the pupil in a PE lesson would be really, really useful seeing them in a different kind of context. They'll also need to know who the professional mentor and subject mentor, who they actually are and how to contact you. So they'll need your contact details of how you prefer, potentially by email. Trainees will need to write a contextual analysis of their placement score, and they'll need certain types of information. A lot of this they can get online, for example, Ofsted reports and so on, or from your school website. But some information they may need might be from the department. It could be the GCSE results this academic year. It could be how many people work within the department, how many colleagues there are, what their curriculum they're following, what exam board they follow. Information such as this will be really important in their contextual analysis. Trainees will need to have access to departmental documentation as appropriate, as I've mentioned, curriculum, exam boards, and also need to know who the staff in their department they'll be working with. During their induction, they may also be allocated a particular form group. So again, that is something that will happen within the induction, and it might be a form group with a teacher who's not from their particular department. So again, knowing who this person is and having their contact details too. For each trainee, they will have professional studies or professional issue sessions within schools. During that induction period, they should be given a list of that so they know every week what the timetabled day and time is for those particular sessions and what they will be undertaking within those sessions. They'll also be getting, during the induction, their timetables. Timetables may be started before their arrival, but they'll be finalised with the subject mentor and the trainee when they are there in induction. So by the end of induction, all trainees will have their timetable. This timetable will be a gradualised one, and it will be very individual based on the needs of the particular trainee. Some trainees want to start teaching quite a big proportion of their timetable early on, whilst others need or want a more gradual approach. You will decide that, subject mentor and professional mentor, with the trainee together. The trainee will be, during induction, observing a range of classes. Many of these classes will be the classes and groups that they will be taking on and teaching themselves. They get to see the class with their own subject teacher, get to see where they're sitting, and get to get some ideas of the level that the particular class is working at. As part of that, the trainees will be given the opportunity to observe a range of good and outstanding teaching practice. So they will have, again, more role models and see a range of strategies and ideas on how they can approach their teaching. Trainees will need data for the classes that they are teaching. There will come a time when trainees will be expected to differentiate, and they need to have that information so they can plan appropriately for the needs of the learners within that class. By the end of the induction period, within their first placement, trainees will be expected to have undertaken a teaching episode. This could be a starter or a plenary, dependent on perhaps the individual. It could be a starter and a plenary. They may do more than one teaching episode. This will form part of their effective teaching and learning assignment, which is getting them to reflect upon what for them is really, really crucial to make teaching effective. I hope that's been helpful. If you do have any further questions about induction, please contact the university.